Welcome to episode 9, where we will go over support and special operations. What we've been doing up till now is called the interface, and now we're going to start the game turn. The campaign scenario begins in the summer of 1965. So we have a year marker here, which is set on 1965. And then we have a season marker, which goes in the summer. Now, there are 2 turns per season. And we're going to go over what happens at the beginning of a turn. There are 3 steps that you do at the beginning of each turn. And we're going to review 2 of the 3 steps. The first step is the support phase. The second step is the special operations phase, and the third step is the strategic movement phase. After that, you would go into your what we call continuous operations until both sides decide to pass, at which point you would advance the game turn marker. In this case, it would advance to game turn 2. So that's an overview of what to expect on a single game turn. Part 1 is the support phase. There are 3 types of support in the game: air, air mobile, and riverine. And the US is the only person that has support. At the beginning of the interface, the US player records the amount of air available, and this will be what's left over after the previous game turn. Then he records the amount that is used in strategic bombing. So anything that's used in strategic bombing will not be available for the next 2 turns, which is 1 season. Then he records new air. So your air available for turn 1 is going to be whatever air you had available in the first place at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the interface, minus what was used in strategic bombing, plus whatever you purchased. That is what's available on game turn 1. So let's say you had 20. You would take this air marker and you'd put it on the 20. Any aircraft that are shot down during the first turn are recorded here, and that will give you how much you have available to start turn 2. Air mobile is a little bit more straightforward. And this line here, you record what was left over after last season. You record your purchases. You add the 2 together and it tells you how much are available on turn 1. Let's say it's 15. So you take your air mobile marker and you put it on 15. Any air mobile that you lose on the first turn is recorded here, subtracted to come up with what you have available for turn 2. Even more straightforward is riverines. You record how many riverines you had at the end of last season, any new purchases, which could be a negative number if it's withdrawn, and that gives you your ending riverine total. And that will be your riverine total for the season. So let's say it's 10. You take your riverine marker, put it on the 10. Once you've got all your markers out, the support phase is done. Finally, we have special operations. So during the special operations phase, it's not as exciting as it sounds. It's not like your Green Berets. It's hold or patrol are your 2 options. So the US player goes first. So over here in Chuanlong, we have a ARVN Armored Recon Battalion, and that's a bad example. I'm glad I caught myself. Let me look for a real unit here. let's go here. So we have some U.S. units. So over here we're looking at the 2nd Battalion, 2nd Regiment, 25th Infantry Division. He has what's called a zone of control around him. It creates a sticky zone around, in the 6 hexes around him, that slows down enemy movement. So during special operations, we could put him on patrol by designating it as such. That increases the movement point cost of VC and North Vietnamese units that need to move near him. And I'm being intentionally vague on this because we haven't talked about movement points or zones of control. I'm just giving you the concept. So the other thing that the US player could do is he could put the unit on hold. So that reduces the sticky factor around the unit. So the 6 hexes around him, he doesn't patrol those areas, so there's no impact on movement around him. However, if he's attacked, his defense is improved. So after the US does this, now the US can do this for all of his units on the board, but that counts as your operation for the turn, meaning you won't have another operation. You won't be able to go search and destroy, do anything like that. So anything that the US puts on hold or patrol is permanently on hold or patrol. Ineffective units cannot be put on hold or patrol. So over here we have a VC unit. Now the VC gets the opportunity to do the same thing. They can go on patrol and increase their effect on enemy movement around them. In this case, there's only 2 hexes around them, but the other 4 do count in case an air mobile unit wants to fly around. The other thing we could do is forfeit our zone of control and put the unit on hold to increase his defense. I can put any VC or North Vietnamese unit on hold. I can only put units on hold that are what we say real. All the units are real, but you cannot put political sections and supply conduits on patrol. They can only go on hold. And the units are all face down, so we don't know. So if you put a unit on patrol, the US pretty much knows it's a real unit. And that is everything I have to say about special operations. So we will move on to the strategic movement phase next time. Thank you.